Welcome in. And today I'm going to describe to you how I would add Cosmo into Marvel Rivals as a support. And before I start the video, I would just like to say, turn on captions so you know the specific numbers I'm saying, and just so you can better follow along, even though I will try to put clips every once in a while just to better describe my points and my abilities. I try to make the kit as balanced as possible. I'll explain throughout how I think it is balanced, and then let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let's dive in. Cosmo. His HP is 250. I say he because I'm taking inspiration from the comics and not the movies. His movement speed is 6 meters a second, which is standard. But after walking for 2 seconds, Cosmo begins sprinting at 10 meters a second. Primary. Watch and learn, Kraglin. After hitting your primary once, meaning left click or right bumper, a small healing orb spawns in front of him, going anywhere he looks with no delay. It has no maximum range, but stops when it hits a person or enemy. If it doesn't, it hits a wall. The orb has a half-meter radius. It retracts when you stop holding down your primary. When it first hits an ally, they get 50 healing, a burst of it, with a delay of 8 seconds. Between each time, they can get that burst of 50. Then when the orb is on an ally, meaning Cosmo is staring at them, the orb heals for 40 healing a second for base healing. But then, he has a scaling factor for higher HP targets, reaching up to 80 healing per second for 700 HP targets, aka Groot. The scaling begins at 250 for allies, giving a base of 40 healing to them. 275 allies receive 42.2, 300 HP allies receive 44.4, then jumping to tanks, 600 HP allies receive 71.1, 650 allies receive 75.6, then for 700 HP targets, aka Groot, will receive 80 healing per second. There's a lot of DPS in the game right now that has scaling and is pretty much a tank melter because it has percentile damage. So isn't it time we have a percentile healer? Put simply, every 11.25 HP, someone will get 1 more healing per second. Attacking is the same. When the orb hits an enemy, it does 35 damage once every 8 seconds. Then slowly damages the enemy 30 damage per second. Cosmo does not have to reload. Now a lot of people will look at this and be like, 80 healing per second? Well, I just want you guys to imagine this. Let's say Loki, for instance. He gives around 100 HP per burst with both illusions, no matter if they're squishy or a tank. And if you're healing a 250 HP target and you're healing 40 a second, that's not really too much right there, especially since you need to track throughout the entire thing, kind of like Ultron. Sure, it does heal tanks a lot, but I think tanks deserve a break with how much percentile damage DPS are out there, to be fully honest. Plus the other abilities, you'll get why. Secondary. Kinetic Force. Cosmo reaches into his mind to save his friends. Using his powers, he creates small force fields around any ally in a 5-meter radius around him. Each force field has 75 health, lasting for 5 seconds. While in the bubble, the ally receives 40 healing a second. If an enemy attacks the bubble, all attacks, which they do damage with, against the force field, the attacks go back to whoever shot them, dealing the same amount of damage but still dealing damage to the force field. Melee hits don't deal damage back to the enemy, but the hits still don't go through the force field like other shields. While Cosmo doesn't receive a force field for himself, he instead grants himself a burst of 45 healing. Anyone in a force field as well is immune to CC effects, including ults. This ability has a cooldown of 14 seconds. I forgot to mention as well, other than the 45 burst healing he gets while pressing the Kinetic Force secondary ability, he also gains a 15% increased healing for himself, because he will be super vulnerable. His shift ability, all turned around. Cosmo dashes 10 meters forward. Just for a comparison, BP is 15 meters with his dash. When he dashes and hits an enemy, it spins their character around 180 degrees. This can also work if Cosmo dashes through ulting characters, like through an ulting Magneto to save his other support. When Cosmo's dash hits a teammate, they gain increased healing of 20% for 5 seconds. CD's Violet Force is 15% for 4 seconds, but also gives 45 healing. The speed of his dash is 40 meters a second, so 10 meters slower than Black Panther's dash. This ability has a cooldown of 10 seconds and can stack up to 2 times with a 2-second cooldown between dashes. Cindy's Veil of Light Force is 12 and can stack up to 2. E ability, Crunch. Cosmo unleashes a mighty bite on his target. In a 2-meter reach, if Cosmo hits an enemy, they receive 45 damage and a 30% slow for 3 seconds. Bucky's E ability is 35% slow for 2 seconds. Ultimate ability, Good Dog. Cosmo uses the rest of his energy to unleash a mighty kinetic force and a cone-shaped spell field with an angle of 80 degrees and length of 25 meters, which is the exact same as Emma but 5 meters shorter. Cosmo slowly pushes away enemies at 3 meters a second, which for most characters will be a 50% slow if they try to walk forward towards him. Any allies hit with the force, and are in front of Cosmo of course, will receive a 50% speed boost when going forward, alongside 165 healing per second, meaning it also pushes them forward 3 meters a second, but if they're standing still it will not affect them. Cosmo can't use any other abilities while using this ability. When casting, Cosmo receives 150 bonus health and is slowed by 50%. The ult will heal for 165 healing per second, which Inviz's ult, which is one of the lower ones, is 180. Ult lasts for 8 seconds, which is the same as Inviz, and it costs 4,500, so the same as Inviz as well. Now the team ups. Cosmo's the anchor of this team up, granting him 25 more HP and a 5% healing bonus. In this team up are 2 other characters, Jeff and Rocket. You're gonna have a lot of Animal Crossing backlines. Jeff's bubble now receives the boop effect like he once had, while also dealing 20 damage per bubble to the enemy who popped it. Rocket's res beacon now emits a pulse whenever someone in an 8-meter radius of it gets too close, pushing them back 5 meters and dealing 20 damage. This pulse can be seen, but not through walls. Cosmo's passive ability, when falling, while holding the jump button, Cosmo falls at a 50% reduced rate. And that's everything I have. I tried to reach in and say, okay, what is not already in the game? I try to lean into not only the comic counterpart of Cosmo, which I took the male version from, I also took his ultimate from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 when she's holding back the giant ship, which has all the animals and like all these creations on it. And everyone's rescuing them, trying to get them to safety, and then Cosmo has to bring that giant ship to their own and nowhere, which is the home planet of them, of the Guardians I mean. She has to exert all of her ability. Now, it isn't really a pull, because that's already done by Emma, so it's like, maybe, what if it's a push? Kinetic force, kinetic power, she can do a little push, right? Or he in this case. So I did that. Alongside, you also need healing with your ult as well. And the speed boost is a very good thing, which makes sense. You're pushing the enemy, so you're going to be pushing your teammates. But it's not going to affect your teammates in a negative way, because why would a support ultimate make your team worse? I tried to really lean in to all aspects of Cosmo here. Even her primary, Watch and Learn Kraglin, is also from the beginning of Guardians 3, when Kraglin is starting to use Yondu's arrow, but is failing at it, and then Cosmo brings up a little metal ball and flings it all around. That's where I got the inspiration for the healing orb, which he has in this one. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I tried to make this nearly as balanced as I could, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next YouTube video. See ya.